Oops, I did it again, motherfuckers. I somehow, someway set another social media platform ablaze with a seemingly very, very unpopular opinion. And quite frankly, do I care that I made these people upset? No, not in the slightest. I couldn't give a single fuck what people thought about me and my opinions because opinions are like assholes. Everybody has one. I'm going to speak that opinion no matter who gets offended by that. Now, before I get in a little bit deeper to the response of what I said, if you haven't figured out already by the title of this video and the thumbnail that this has something to do with WWE 2K23. It's kind of funny I'm talking about a WWE 2K game, considering I haven't played one since 2K20, and for some reason I still haven't bought or played 2K22. Apparently, there have been talks over the last few weeks, if not the last few days more specifically, about WWE 2K23. And I'm sitting here like, oh shit, is it that time for 2K23 already? Not for nothing, ever since 2K22's release, which was kind of out of whack because usually the game's released in like October. And ever since then, I just haven't really kept track of WWE 2K news. But I saw something on Twitter today from an account I very much respect in the wrestling community, and that's an account called Wrestle Features. And they put out a tweet that said, never mind, I can't quote. Apparently the tweet was deleted because of some sort of media leak thing. So I'll never remember what they said for sure, but I do know what I said in response to the tweet. Now, I can't put a photo of what I saw. I might be able to put in the thumbnail, but I can't put a photo in the video for obvious reasons. It was a WWE 2K23 cover with John Cena. Now, as you all know, John Cena and I have no love lost. Well, I have no love lost for John Cena. Quite frankly, don't like the guy. I'm sure he's a good person because of all the good charity work he's done. But as a wrestler, I don't really like him all that much. He was never a favorite of mine. Somehow, some way, he became wildly popular because of course, the marketing machine in WWE. So I quite frankly can't hold it against him. But for me, I just never really saw the whole appeal. So the cover is absolutely artistically fantastic. And that's what I mentioned in this tweet, as I will say right now. If this is legit, meaning the cover, I don't understand what John Cena has done to warrant being on the cover of WWE 2K23. Artistically, as I said, it looks great. And if you've seen it going around social media, it's a really nice looking cover. It might arguably be better than the last one for 2K22. And 2K22's was pretty solid. But the last time John Cena was on the cover of a game, it was mediocre at best with 2K15, which is true. WWE 2K15, I think to many people in the community, it was a massive step backward from what 2K14 was. So to me, it's a bad omen. End quote. What I said made a lot of fucking people upset. Now, this part of the video is not to necessarily target anybody because I will be blocking out pretty much their names and shit, but I won't block out profile pictures. I'm really confused as to why people got so upset about this because to me, when I buy 2K games, 2K games are always kind of the same thing. They have the top stars on the cover. I mean, look at NBA 2K. They've had guys like Giannis, Zion, Anthony Davis when his ass can stay healthy. They've had guys like that are on the covers of the game who are the biggest stars of the year per se, or rising stars, or people that get a lot of media attention within the NBA. And then 2K also does like legacy type of versions of the game where, you know, when Kobe passed away, rest in peace, they had something for him, which was really nice. When 2K23, I think, came out for NBA, I believe they also did something with Jordan, because obviously the number 23 was Jordan's number. The GOAT, in my opinion, if not one of the GOATs. Not trying to trigger too many people with this video. So my mentality with that tweet was kind of like that. Why are you going to put someone that hasn't wrestled a match the entire year of 2022 and decide to put him on the cover? Now, granted, we don't know if that's the actual cover or not, or if it's a legacy cover. It wasn't really specified. All we saw was this was a leaked cover of 2K23. All right? So I have a couple of people. This is the first guy I see. I'll put the tweet up on the screen. Pro wrestling ain't a meritocracy. Listen, folks, I had to look that fucking word up. I have a 3.9 GPA from after graduating college, but I am not a genius. But I had to look up what meritocracy meant as opposed to how this pertains to this conversation. By the looks of this dude, he's got a mask in his profile, so he's either trying to be gangster or incredibly scared of COVID-19. Looks like a wannabe tryhard. Don't take anything with this tweet too seriously because, quite frankly, I said mediocre, not meritocracy. I don't know where the fuck that word came out of in this conversation. Apparently, this was a funny one. This is a funny tweet for me. People take pro wrestling like it's fucking gospel. He's John Cena. He's the first man to beat Roman Reigns in any match in over 3 years. That happened 4 fucking weeks ago. There's a lot of planning that goes into stuff when it comes to making these covers. And I highly doubt John Cena beating Roman Reigns in his only match of the year really means him getting the cover is really warranted. I'm sorry. There just doesn't make any fucking sense with that. I find that argument to be completely ridiculous, and considering how much time and effort as a company it takes to plan things like this. So 4 weeks, you're kind of pushing it there, buddy. This is a funny one. Well, he's John Cena, and other people are not John Cena. Thank you for the fantastic analysis there, my friend. Very, very riveting. This one I have a decent argument for. The biggest wrestler ever who just passed 20 years. Laugh my ass off. So, based off of that logic, if we're going by the whole, it's his 20-year anniversary, which is impressive in itself to be in a company for that long like John Cena has. Let's not hold anything against him in that case. If we're going by that, shouldn't that mean Randy Orton should get a cover again? He hasn't had one since like WWE 12. Doesn't that mean Batista should be on a cover? He just had his 20-year anniversary. Shelton Benjamin recently also talked about celebrating his 20-year anniversary. You know, these were like the core 4 of OVW who got brought up. These 4 men basically were touted as the future of the company. You know, we all know Randy Orton, Batista, and John Cena's success, but Shelton Benjamin, one of the most prolific mid-carders of the 2000s or Ruthless Aggression era. Guy's a fucking stud in my opinion. I mean, if we're going off that logic, every single one of those guys deserves a cover. There was also a whole bunch of conversation within this tweet of, oh, he sold tickets, he's a draw, all that jazz. I don't give a fuck about that. Because that was 5-10 years ago that John Cena was selling out arenas all across the country and the world. And even during that time, as he was selling out arenas, WWE's ratings were kind of going down, and they're still going down to this day, especially with shit with Vince McMahon, if what I'm hearing with that's true, and I'll talk about that in a future video in a week or so. We can argue he sells tickets and he kind of helped WWE get more and more into mainstream, but at the same time, it's like, TV-wise, people haven't watched wrestling in the capacity that they've had from, you know, the 90s to even the earliest 2000s. And then throughout the 2000s, the ratings were going down. And even now, they're at a level that it's like, it's kind of sad to read every week when people report, oh, Raw had a 1.5 or Raw had a 1.6 or things of that nature. You would never think that 20 years ago, that wrestling would ever decline that much. And as a fan for almost 13 years now, I don't think that argument of, oh, he sold tickets doesn't really hold up to me. Sure, he's one of the biggest stars in the company and wrestling's history, but he's also had his drawbacks as well with being the face of the company. Personally, for me, to kind of wrap up this conversation, I would have liked to have seen 2K and WWE showcase multiple stars, like kind of how they tried to do with 2K20, but it didn't come out nearly as nice as it probably could have been. The cover for that kind of looked like shit. But I miss like the old SmackDown versus Raw covers where they showed off multiple people that were huge over the course of the year. I hate this single cover superstar stuff now, but that it is what it is. But if we had to choose who should get a cover, there's a lot of arguments for people like Bianca Belair. I've seen people kind of be up in arms about Bianca Belair and why hasn't she had a cover yet? Because quite frankly, if I was to name the MVP of the year for WWE as far as, wrestling and storylines and just overall dominance, for lack of better terms, Bianca Belair is in that conversation. And if we really want to go into the whole dominance of the brand and everything in the company revolves around them, Roman Reigns and the Bloodline, or even to a lesser extent, Judgment Day. They could have easily came up with something really fucking cool for the Bloodline where all the guys are together, doing the We the One symbol. Roman Reigns could be sitting on some sort of chair with both the titles. Paul Heyman's in the background scheming. They could have did some cool shit for that. If I ever see something like that on Twitter, if someone puts that together, I'd love to see how that would look because I think that could be a pretty cool visual, personally. Judgment Day can do some cool stuff. If there was like a faction as the cover, I don't know, just be creative. Again, if you've seen the cover, it's really artistically beautiful, I have to say. But I don't think someone who hasn't wrestled literally the entire year and made 2 appearances in 2022, I think, really warrants being on the cover. Because he's already been on a cover. I would like to have someone else have some spotlight on them. Let people talk about them now. And this is where the hypocrisy of wrestling fans kind of comes into play. We want new things. We want new stars. We don't want WWE and other wrestling companies relying on the past or nostalgia as much anymore. But then, when John Cena comes in, who's practically out of wrestling at this point, despite maybe a one-off appearance or 2 every now and again, everybody's excited, and I get it. It's their childhood hero. But let's take the fandom out of it and think about it from a business perspective. Who was one of your top stars over the course of the year that we can showcase on this cover? Or multiple people that we can showcase. When Roman Reigns and Becky Lynch were on the cover of 2K20, I thought them doing multiple stars was going to be the norm. I guess they're still going on with the single superstar thing, considering Ray was on 2K22, because he was approaching his 20-year anniversary at the time. I don't know. I just have a whole bunch of opinions and a whole bunch of ideas about it. I could be wrong, and this could just be a legacy edition because odds are Cena might be getting a showcase mode this year, which, I don't know how much they can show considering a lot of it's probably going to be taken out because CM Punk was a whole lot of Cena's career in the 2010s before Punk's departure. So that's just kind of what I think about it, man. I made a lot of people upset. I quite frankly don't give a shit. People were trying to come at me about it, thinking I'm some sort of dumbass. And I'm coming at this from a completely logical business point of view. But like I said, it could just be a legacy cover. Which, if it is, it's a pretty good start for a legacy cover if that is legit. And judging by the fact that it's been copyrighted across social media since the leak happened, it's a good chance that might be the case. I just want something more current as the regular cover for WWE 2K23. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, please get your heads out of your ass when it comes to your favorite fandoms. And subscribe to the channel, because I post badass gaming, real opinions, and zero bullshit whenever I can, with my upload schedule being as random as it is. But I figured since this was timely enough, I'd like to talk about it. So take care of yourselves, take care of each other. So take care of yourselves, and take care of each other. And if it's anything I can hope for this next WWE game, is that it can actually be good. Because that's all we want. See you on the next one.